What do you think of Zeke right now based on what he did in about the first 6 games? Because the last 4 games, he's struggled. Is it just based off of the blocking? Is he slowing down? How do you think the Cowboys can get back to early Zeke?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think if you are familiar with my fine work or mediocre work, depending on your perspective, I suppose, I believe that a lot of the running back's job is dictated by what the offensive line does in front of them. So when Zeke struggles, I'm not going to pile on and be like, oh, Zeke's not running it well, because generally it means that he didn't have anywhere to go. I think Zeke looks good this year. It's easier to look good when they block well, and so your numbers are great. But even over the last few weeks, like I haven't looked at Zeke and been like, man, he doesn't look good. Pollard has popped some bigger runs, but that's also, I think people need to appreciate Tony Pollard more. So I think Zeke has been good. I think he's been a good version of Zeke.
Who are these people? Who are the people that need to appreciate him more?
I mean, it might be the Cowboys. I just,
Mickey.
Don't kill me for this, okay? I'm just going to look something up real quick. But I think this is year 3 of Pollard's career.
Yes.
And I believe for 3 years running, he's had a higher yards per carry than Zeke. He's had more broken tackles, more yards after contact, better yards per catch. And I don't do that to tear Zeke down, although people think I'm a Zeke hater. I'm a running back who has a bunch of money hater in a salary cap league. If I have a guy who consistently outperforms the other guy, I think I would keep moving the pendulum and be like, hey, more touches, more touches, more touches. Does this hold up? If not, okay, we swing it right back. But I would want to find out, because Pollard just every year, this year it's by a full yard per carry, he outperforms him.
So when I was watching a little bit of ESPN and they were breaking down the Chiefs and Cowboys game, they said the Chiefs weren't doing a lot of complicated things defensively. What they were doing is they were run blitzing on a consistent basis and saying, we are going to try to stop you from running the ball, and we are going to give you a lot of one-on-one matchups. If you can take advantage of all these one-on-one matchups we're giving you, you're probably going to beat us, or at least we're going to have to get out of, we're going to stop run blitzing so much if you start beating us this way. Do you feel like tomorrow that the Raiders can mimic the run defense that the Chiefs did on Sunday?
I think they're very different. But I do think that you're stupid if you don't try it. I think you absolutely try it. And I'm thinking of the Raiders' defensive personnel. They're not bad at corner. They have a strong safety who can't cover, so playing him down against the run is good anyway, and Jonathan Abram. So, yeah, that's what they should try. And that's what makes the Denver game, I think, and the Kansas City game. And then the Atlanta game in between is what makes it really weird. Because you go Denver, and you go, oh, they played man defense, and I guess Amari told us him and CD were both really banged up and just couldn't win. It's like, well, that sucks. Atlanta, they tried the same thing, and they changed their mind in about 8 minutes of game time because they're like, wow, that got us shredded. So they said, nope, never mind. And then you play Kansas City, and they're like, well, we are going to try it too, and it did work. So that's 2 out of 3. I think you have to go do it.
Does personnel matter there too? Because Atlanta might not have the same talent that both of those teams have.
Yeah, I think it's more about the Cowboys personnel and health would be my guess. Because Dak was bad last week. You can't take that away. Because if you tell Dak that, I take this literally all the way back to high school football. If you told me, hey, this team, they play press man, there's going to be one free safety, they're here to stop the run, an average quarterback and an average wide receiver are going to fist bump. They're going to be like, you got to be kidding me. I'm going for 203 scores today. It's just me and him. It's a dream come true for a quarterback and the receiver. So I can imagine it's super frustrating for the Cowboys that 2 out of 3 weeks, they haven't been able to do what they think they should be able to do. But I bet you that inside the locker room, they're really excited that teams are going to try it again.
I wanted a thought too, when the drops happen, does Dak get discouraged by that when you see him kind of? I'm just wondering, because he seemed to not trust his guys later.
What would
in the
Mike
game.
do? What would Mike do?
You'd call him fart heads and stop throwing him
As
the
a
ball.
kid, I would scream at them and tell them they're a piece of dump and tell the coach to get them off the field. As an adult, I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to pretend like that didn't happen. Or
were you good at that on the mound?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, in
the clubhouse, I wouldn't yell at them, but I would throw a fit. but not like at them. But.
It's hard because like a football season is like, it's not a baseball season, but it is a long season. You're going to have different guys, different weeks, and sometimes you don't block well, and sometimes you don't throw well, and you would like your quarterback to be consistently awesome, and Dak hasn't been. 2 of the last 3 weeks, he hadn't been very good. But I do think it's really hard to get into your rhythm and get to where you're feeling good when you're like, all right, I misfired on the first throw. That's my fault. Second throw I made wasn't great, but we caught it. We gained 7 yards. All right, here we go. Drop. It's like, all right, there went. Okay, no problem. You come back out, drop. And it's like, oh, and Chris Jones just sacked me in 1 second. And I think at some point you're just like, geez, like, what am I supposed to do today? And it gets really hard. So they need to do everything better. And Dak is absolutely not free of blame. But if teams think that's the blueprint, good luck.
Kevin, what are your thoughts? Because when you go back to week 3, 4, and 5, Philadelphia, Carolina, Giants, Cowboys score 41, 36, 44. In those games, Zeke goes 17 carries, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns. 20 carries, 143 yards, 1 touchdown. 21 carries, 110 yards, and a touchdown. He averages 5.6, 7.2, and 5.2 in that 3-game stretch. He looked like top 5 running back in the NFL again. What do you do if you're running the Cowboys with Zeke?
I think Jeff made an intriguing point too along the way, is because when you're talking about some of the numbers, is like, I didn't feel like he looked bad in the Atlanta game. Like, I felt like he did exactly what you needed to do, which makes it all the more fascinating how much focus is going to be in on the run game, since Zeke was the person who stepped out and said, I think running the football has to be important to us, and I think it helps the offense. So I think tomorrow, especially with Tyron back, and then we're getting word, and Dak said how good CD looked, with a more like complete offense, you would feel more comfortable deploying the complete offense, which includes the run. I don't understand. I still am perplexed about not running more when the game wasn't out of reach. I know, like, it felt like you were losing the entire game against Kansas City, but it was never more than a 2-score game.
Yeah, third quarter at 16-6, right? So you feel like if we can make a drive here, even if we get 3, it's a 1-score game. If we get a touchdown, it's 13-16, and you're feeling like, hey, we're right in this thing, and they're struggling somewhat to score points. At times struggling to move the ball. At times they'd move the ball, and the Cowboys would get somewhat of a fortunate turnaround, a turnover where Kelsey dropped the ball, stuff like that.